And people call me crazy or insane when I say that we have a regime that is cultic. And for me, when I look at what's happening and how things are being, how the leaders of this regime are reacting to the things that are happening, it is a confirmation that we elected a cult.
That's really serious.
That's how I feel, though.
In those, you know, in that,
and you know,
people
call you crazy at the beginning until when they start realizing it. You know how they say first they'll call you crazy, then So I know that there's a lot of people thinking, you know, this one lost her mind. No, I didn't lose my mind. I experienced and had the unfortunate privilege of witnessing a lot of things that shouldn't happen, and a lot of what I would call cultic behavior. Yeah.
If that's the case, then a national prayer breakfast then kind of makes sense, isn't it? Because if you're talking about there needs to be deliverance and prayer, then that makes sense.
Indeed, if indeed we were praying to God.
Everybody, people congregated at the prayer breakfast yesterday. The day before, when the First Lady met, you know, a number of women's groups, she said that I feel that we need to pray specifically for the months of June and July.
Let me ask you, what's the reason why we go to specific churches? Why don't you just go to any church? Why don't you just go to any gathering? After all, it says where two or more are gathered, God is there. Because there are some people who gather in the name of God, but we know that that is not really the agenda. There's a whole spiritual life out here. And when I look at how the things were conducted during the prayer days, there was a lot of mockery, you know. The politicians were joking a lot around things. The president barely took the issue of the breaking news of the fire seriously. He mentioned it as a by the way towards the end. The leaders in that space almost appeared as if what has happened is a very small thing, you know. It was like, oh, the wind has blown, and okay, let's continue with our activity. They went ahead to eat and dine. It almost reminds me of that picture in the Bible where was it Jesus entered this space where people were dancing and eating and dining, and he was like,
"What are you guys doing?
What are you guys doing?" You know, it felt like that yesterday. Like you have been chosen to leadership to take care of these people. And terrible things are happening to these people who you're supposed to take care of, and you are completely unawares. You're not there. It doesn't move you. There was no... You couldn't even feel. In fact, you would have to walk into that room and say, guys, can we stop celebrating or doing whatever we're doing? Because 16 very innocent lives have been lost.
You know, Gloria...
We are saying that we are not capable of ensuring the safety of our kids in boarding schools. Then we need to ban boarding schools. Yeah. If we are saying as a country we are not capable of ensuring safety in those schools, then we literally need to say, okay, imetushinda, no more boarding schools.
To school every
Kila
day.
mtu akae nyumbani kwao. Uko nyumbani, you don't get locked in. You don't get locked in when you're sleeping at home. Nobody locks you in there and then goes and leaves you in there. Why would you do it in another institution where your kids are sleeping? And you know, it is as simple as, you know, guys don't understand that leadership. When you have a thief at the top, everyone down starts stealing everything. When you have an inhumane person at the top, everyone down starts doing the same thing. When you have a leader at the top who doesn't take a fire tragedy that has taken the lives of 16 people seriously, that he goes to Safari Park to drink tea and purport to pray, then everyone down there is like, siyo kitu ilifanyika imeisha. Do you know, if you go through that safety guideline, the 78-page document that I'm telling you, it even tells you, besides fire extinguishers, how there should be floor plans of, sensitization of the students, understanding, this is the entry, this is the exit, this is where I can hide in case of this, the mapping out of that. It has drill sessions. How many schools have done drills? Drills. And the frequency of how many times you should do it, and who should be in charge. It has many things, including whistles, because and torches in case maybe you can't shout far, whatever. But then there's a principal right now sitting and looking at it and saying hatuna pesa. Lakini cabinet secretary ataland na chopper. Iyo chopper tu ililand hapo. Those are how many fire extinguishers for how many schools? Iyo chopper tu, because I can tell you back and forth costed him a minimum of 350,000 Kenya shillings. A fire extinguisher nowadays, if you get it in bulk, you can get it about 1,800, depending on the capacity.
Capacity, yeah.
So even just him landing in the chopper is him not understanding, what, you think about it. And then this prayer day that we had.
Because it culminates in that, because we spent another 5 hours after this praying. And so what is it?
So even the prayer day, everything about it.
Gloria?
No, but you can't. But let me ask you, are you saying that if the prayer day was removed, this country will have no prayers? What is the worst case scenario?
If people actually pray, they could pray in their...
I listened to Ndindi Nyoro talking on austerity measures, and his spirit is in the right place. And I said to myself, do you know, if you just cut the budget of travel in Parliament to 0, do you know how much you save? Billions. For one financial year. Billions. And I'm sure it's over 2B. Just on travel. So when you're saying, we don't have money for capitation, we need to raise taxes, that's a lot of BS. I mean, if you look at what the president is doing, all these activities, that tent that they have up in State House, how much does it cost? Because they have a tent. Why do they have a tent in State House?
People are coming,
Why?
To,
Why? To do what?
To attend to guests.
Why?
Why? Teachers today, doctors tomorrow.
Why?
17 billion.
Listen, it is cheaper for you, President Ruto, to go to the people than the people to come to you in State House. That is an austerity measure. It is. If it's me, it's like me sitting in my house and saying, now I'm going to bring all my electorate to my house. I put up tents, buy sodas, put security protocols and what they're telling you, the reason why they couldn't cancel the presidents to the prayer and whatever. It is cheaper for you as an individual to go to the people. Yeah? How come Waikibaki never brought people to State House? Yeah? And how did that affect the budget then? So some of these things, even for schools, yes, the teachers now are saying, the principals, the biggest thing is who's going to pay for all these fire extinguishers? We're not allowed to put the cost down to the students and to the parents. That's, they should demand. We need to get to a place where we say, okay, in fact, no, we are demanding that until these things are done, capitation and this, we don't want anything else happening. When you see people taking photos saying, now they've gone for conferences, now you've gone for this conference, and now you've gone for agriculture what seed nini conference, where we come mbunge. Alafu. Even that, it's because there's no accountability, because there is no way. We are not given anything. From the corporate life when you travel, there's accountability. Yeah. Aside from just attending the actual conference, sometimes you even have sales targets. Yep. Sometimes you even you're told you must come back having made this collaboration with this company. There's a target, and that's the reason why even our embassies now in our high commissions and embassies abroad, we are just using them as people hanging around. But if those people had targets of the amount of business they bring in, but we are not intentional about how we spend our money. That's why we can now say, we're having a problem. We can't put fire extinguishers in schools because we don't have money.
Details that we overlook that actually cause the tragedy that we are then so heavy-hearted about today. That if like again, this 78-page document is whittled down into a 2-pager, and that we say, for all the schools in this area, if you have boarding facilities, this is what you must do. Yeah. This is not a beg or can you kindly. No.
Because
this is a standard
then it's also easy to hold people
somebody accountable. And to say that we told you to do this. But then what is it going to take? Because you know what? The truth of the fact is that lamentations at some point are sweet. And I said to myself that I cannot imagine the impossible task that parents are having, not to even talk to anybody, that parents are having to impossibility to come to grips with this thing, as they did for every other incident that occurred. It's impossible. Yeah, it's impossible to even think from this minute to the next. But at the same time, we have to feed on the hope that it will not happen again tomorrow. But if we don't, what needs to happen? If we need to shut down schools that are not compliant?
Yeah,
Do
let
we
me
need
tell
to
you
say
something.
That the Ministry of Education needs to get their ducks in a row?
As a country